How I got our translator fired. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Before we start, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe and click the bell icon for more videos. Thanks. How I got our translator fired. I was working a job that had me operating in one of our offices overseas. We would have business expenses and those receipts would be in the language of the country we were in, obviously. Those expenses were for things like printer ink, office equipment, cleaning services, marketing costs, all pretty standard stuff. Well, around this time we got a new VP over our region who worked out of head office in LA. This VP came up with this brilliant idea to hire a translator to translate all of our receipts to make sure we weren't sneaking in bull. Fair enough. However, the issue that arose was that we had to send our expenses to the translator who would translate the receipt then submit for reimbursement. The problem was, this translator was a real Karen type. Oh no, so initial thoughts on the story then? Well, if this translator is a Karen type, then I think we can all guess what's going to happen. She's probably going to, lie about what's on the receipt, seeing that she's just got power. And you know what Karens are like with power. They love power, don't they? So I'm sure, she's going to try and, mess with them and say what's on the receipt is what not actually there. So yeah. She would demand better scans of the receipts. Oftentimes, we had already thrown it away. She would argue if we really got the best deal on whatever we bought. I remember in one transaction on about $200 of ink cartridges, she asked me why I didn't order online from this common website, to which I said they were out of stock at the time and we needed ink, so we bought from a local store. To which she said I was spending too much money. To which I said, it's none of your concern, your job is to translate the receipt. To which she said, if I want her to submit my expenses, I need to be nice to her. To which I said she needs to learn her place, she's a translator, not a VP that gets to instruct me what to do. After this encounter, she started being extra with my expenses. So one day I came in the office early to call her and try and work things out. She basically told me that I messed up by her off, and she expected my expense reports to be perfect or she wouldn't submit them unless they were. I told her if she keeps this up she wouldn't have a job much longer. She laughed and wished me well and hung up. A few months later we had our annual meeting in LA, and after the meeting we were at the bar and I walked up to our VP and started a conversation. I steered the conversation to expenses and I asked him how much in monthly expenses did he typically reimburse us for in the country we worked out of. He said about $3,000 to $4,000. I acted surprised and asked, "Is that all?" He goes, "Yeah." To clarify, that $3,000 to $4,000 is the typical spend, and he says yeah, it rarely gets above $4,000. So I ask him about how Karen, our translator, is doing. He says she's doing a good job, and I nod my head and go, how much fraudulent expenses has she caught? It's important to note, every employee that was submitting expenses was well paid. They'd be awfully stupid trying to skim some extra dollars via fraudulent expense reports. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, you'd hired her to ensure all the expenses you were reimbursing us for are legitimate, right? Her job is to translate them for you, correct? He said it is, and asked, so it's safe to presume you've done that to ensure people aren't submitting BS expenses. He says, you could say that. I smile and ask, so how much in fraudulent expenses has she caught? He thinks for a moment and goes, I don't think she has caught any. So I ask, and how much do we pay her? He says it depends on her workload, but between $2,500 to $3,000 a month. I smile and ask, does it make sense to pay someone $3,000 a month to translate $3,000 in receipts? Well, she ensures we aren't getting fraudulent expenses, and I counter, well, he said she hasn't counted any in the last 9 months, and the expenses are always between $3,000 and $4,000, as long as the expenses stay in that range, wouldn't it be safe to assume that the expenses are legitimate? And couldn't you bring on a translator on a contract basis if they got out of hand? He sees my point. And imagine the cost savings, we'd probably save over $40,000 a year. That's a good chunk of change, isn't it? The VP tries to defend his position. But she does a good job, and I counter, but you could frame this as you saved us $40,000 a year and created a baseline to judge expenses by. Cutting costs is always good for the bottom line, and the end of the year bonuses, isn't it? FYI, I knew that a major percent of VP comp package within the company had to do with the company's margin at the end of the year. The bigger the margin, the bigger the bonus. You can see the twinkle in his eye. We carry on the rest of the night. A few weeks later we get an email from the VP saying that we are to submit all of our expenses directly to admin for reimbursement, and that we have let go of Karen. FYI, Karen wasn't her real name, obviously. TLDR, got my translator fired for being difficult by getting the new VP to see she was a waste of money. So that is the end of today's story and final thoughts. Oh yeah, so in the end, well, I don't, what was, oh yeah, so the revenge was because, you know, she was being a bit annoying and, you know, having a go at people for, oh yeah, why are you spending here, not here, when she was a translator, so, you know, it's just her job to translate the receipts and nothing else, but she was annoying everyone by, you know, kind of telling them what to do. And so yeah, they got their revenge in the end by telling the higher up people that she's basically a waste of money and got her job lost. So yeah, that's a revenge story today. And what do I think? Well, I mean, it wasn't an amazing revenge story, but because all she was, from what the story said, all she was doing was being a bit annoying, and they cost her job in the end. Which, I mean, well, that kind of job, I'm sure would be, well, translator jobs, I guess, they're not always going to be full-time like that one. It's probably going to be more like small jobs here and there for businesses, unless you, of course, you're, you know, under a business which has lots of overseas stuff, then you obviously will be full-time. But I mean, it probably is quite harsh getting her fired in the end, but because yeah, all she did was say, you know, well, be a bit annoying about things and tell people where to spend their money and stuff, but it didn't. Did she spend stuff fraudulently? I didn't really get it. I don't think she did. No, she didn't, did she? Let me know in the comments if she did or not, because I didn't really get that bit. But in the middle, I thought he just telling his boss about how she could be wasting money or whatever, or yeah, I didn't really get that bit. But so yeah, that's the end of today's ProRevenge story. Hope you liked it, but before we click off the video, please comment what you'd like to see next, because I literally reply to every comment and I get not many comments anymore. But yeah, next video, if you want to see a rSLASH entitled parents video, or maybe a new subreddit or whatever, just comment down below. And as you may have seen, I've been using the poll feature a bit more. Yeah, so I'm probably going to use that to see what other subreddits I should look at too. But yeah, that's why, because I've said like so many times now that I'm going to do that, but the thing is, no one really asks for anything. If you look in the comments, it's like 2 comments normally, one of them is me, and then yeah, so if you do want to, you know, literally like any subreddit or whatever, then yeah, just comment down below. And yeah, so that's the end of today's video. Once again, please make sure you like, because it helps the video out. Comment something and I'll probably I will reply to it. Subscribe so you get more of my videos in the future, and click the bell icon so you get notified when I do post, because YouTube is awful at showing my videos to subscribers. As you probably see, that my videos are getting around 40 views now, even though I have 1,300 subscribers. So yeah, that's the life of YouTube. Anyway, thank you again, and bye.